Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Harry Smith with your 4:30 Bulletin. Managerless Southampton picked up a vital win on Saturday with a 1-0 victory at Chelsea. Ruben Sellers' side took all 3 points at Stamford Bridge with a customary James Ward-Prowse free kick. The Spanish caretaker boss put his hat in the ring for the vacant Saints job after Jesse Marsch turned down the role last week.
Yeah, simple. I think it was a fantastic performance from the team. We look like a unit, we look like we work together, and I asked for them just to play like that in the very beginning, to be together. Good things will come if we do like that, of course with a lot of detail and a solid plan behind and a good week for all of us.
As Southampton are still yet to replace Nathan Jones, Neil Mullock is outside St Mary's now to tell us more.
Yes, Harry, with a resounding result on Saturday, Southampton game at Stamford. Caught up with a few fans from Southampton as what they felt about this big result, how this could be a pivotal point in their quest to stay on flight.
Saints did a double over the big boys from London. Southampton's win over Chelsea at the weekend sparked a new hope for the bottom place Southampton FC. I caught up with some Saints fan of how they felt about this weekend's results and the new interim coach. And can this result at Stamford Bridge be a new turning point in Saints' quest to stay in the top flight?
I think it's early days at the moment. They had a good game the other day. They weren't expected to get a win. I think the defence...
Saints did a double over the big boys from London. Southampton's win over Chelsea at the weekend sparked a new hope for the bottom place Southampton FC. I caught up with some Saints fan of how they felt about this weekend's results and the new interim coach. And can this result at Stamford Bridge be a new turning point in Saints' quest to stay in the top flight?
I think it's early days at the moment. They had a good game the other day. They weren't expected to get a win. I think the defence played a lot better. I think they need to get a couple more strikers that are actually hitting the target and that. You can't rely on Ward-Prowse to score every goal, like, do you know what I mean? So otherwise, I think, you know, give him a chance, like, see how he does. But I think it's important that it happens soon, because we're at the bottom of the table, right? And, you know, people like Everton and that are starting to pick up on their game and everything. So it's just a matter of time now, just to see how he does. I don't know if they're going to keep him in or get another manager in, so let's see what happens, isn't it? I think they looked like they were really up for the game. That's the best I've seen them play. Like, they looked like they wanted to win, and they defended their goal really well. So hopefully, you know, that's a turning round point psychologically, you know, because there's a lot of mental stuff in the game as well as physical, isn't there? So hopefully, yeah, it'll change everything. I'm not really bothered. I think we should look at someone different, that's for sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of like Frank Lampard, if I'm honest, do you know what I mean? So, like, but let's see, innit? I don't know if he'll come to Southampton, though.
Thank you, sir.
Well, ever since Ruben came in, it's been absolutely amazing. Obviously, we've just won against Chelsea, so what else is there to say?
Do you think Southampton, this big win can give them confidence that they can avoid relegation?
Oh, 100%, 100%. We've got confidence now. If we can beat Chelsea, we can beat anybody. It was absolutely amazing. I was there at the stadium. You should have been there. Scenes were chaotic. Everybody was so gassed, so happy. And yeah, it's just given us the amazing amount of confidence we need. And yeah, we're going to be shooting for the stars from now on.
Correct.
I thought it was a guaranteed 3 points, so losing that game was a bit disappointing. We didn't play well, and serious issues are there at Chelsea right now.
And let's shift our focus to Southampton. What do you make of Southampton as a team? You know, they are under the new manager, interim manager, and well, they have done the double against your Chelsea. So do you think that this big result away from home at Stamford Bridge can give them a lot of confidence?
I think Southampton, the new coach, interim coach, I've heard good things about him. I think he's a really up-and-coming coach. has a possibility of being a full-time manager. So he seems a good coach, and they have a lot of young players. So I think given a bit of time, they might stay up. But it looks a hard ask, to be honest.
So what do you feel like? They're still at 20th, still at the bottom, even after this great result at the Bridge. Do you think somehow still, because there's still time left, can they sneak out of that relegation zone?
I think it's going to be very difficult, to be honest, because of the competition, and you see the sides around them. You see West Ham, Everton, their sides have spent a lot of money. So I think it might be really tough, but they have a chance.
And last question to you. Well, as you've spoken about, you've heard a lot of things about the new manager. But according to you, who do you want to see as the Southampton manager? If they, of course, stay in the Premier League, if the interim manager does, manage to, hang them about in the Prem. But who do you want to see? Who do you think is a perfect fit for the Saints?
To be honest, I thought Jesse Marsh was a fit because I think his style of football suits Southampton, but apparently that's not on the cards now. But if they have another chance, I think Marsh is a really good fit for the role.
All right. Thank you, brother.
I hear you. Southampton travel to Leeds this weekend. I don't know whether they can hear me. I can hear anything. Southampton travel to Leeds this.
So it looks like we have some technical difficulties trying to reach Neil there. We apologise for that. But we'll continue now, as Southampton resident Ben Matthews has been selected as one of the coaches to represent the UK at the Special Olympic World Games. The former MA student from Solent University will travel to Berlin as the newly appointed head coach of the unified football team. He will support 11 athletes and unified partners, both with and without intellectual disabilities, this June. Despite Chelsea's stuttering start to the season so far, and fresh off the back of their 1-0 home defeat to Southampton, the board are still in full support of Graham Potter. The former Brighton boss has managed just 2 wins from 14 league outings since coming to Stamford Bridge earlier this season. The Blues spent over £300 million in January, meaning the pressure for results is fast increasing. Tottenham have called for social media companies to take action following online racist abuse directed towards Heung-min Son. This came during Spurs' 2-0 victory against West Ham. Son came off the bench and scored in front of a packed-out Tottenham Hotspur stadium. Some sad news over the weekend as the body of former Newcastle and Bournemouth player Christian Atsu was found in his Turkey home following the recent earthquake. We were also saddened to learn the passing of broadcaster Dickie Davis. The Champions League continues tomorrow night with a number of mouth-watering ties for football fans to sink their teeth into. The headline fixture is a repeat of last year's final as Liverpool welcome Real Madrid to Anfield, where they'll look to avenge for last season's heartbreak. Elsewhere, last year's Europa League winners Eintracht Frankfurt take on high-flying Napoli, who currently sit 15 points clear at the top of Serie A. Now, time for some more local news. Within Southampton, Peter Langton tells us more.
Solent Botchwick ended the second day of 3 days of the Super League yesterday in Brentford.
What is the Super League, I hear you ask? Well, to tell us more, here's competition manager Daniel Smith.
So the Boccia England Super League, it's a competition for the top 8 boccia teams in England to come together on 3 fixture days and compete against each other to then go through to the finals day in July next year, where they'll compete for a chance to be crowned Super League champions.
Solent Boccia went with 4 members again and had a wonderful day, winning 2 out of the 3 matches that they had. The first game was against Pace A, who had an England player in its ranks, Rashad Sazak, and we lost against them 5-4. The second game of the day was against Paul's Place Vikings. And we won that game 14-3. We then went on to win again another Paul's Place team, and this was Barbarians, and we won against them 6-3. So we won 2 games out of 3. In terms of placings, last time we went top of the league, and along with some All Stars, and we don't know what the placing is at the moment of our recording. However, we might know by the end of the day, which of course the host will then announce on air if the placings have been updated by Butcher England. But we go on to the third fixture day in a couple of months before going to the finals in July. This is Peter Anton for Solent Sport News.
Shortly after the recording, Butcher England has updated the table after the second fixture day. Solent was top but are now tied with 2 other teams, all on 10 points, with the University dropping into second place. Time for some cricket updates now. England cricket team registered a resounding victory over New Zealand in the first Test match by a whopping 267-run margin. Stuart Broad and James Anderson wreaked havoc by picking 4 wickets each in the second innings. England has been on a roll since the duo of Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes have taken charge. England is yet to lose a Test series since July 2022 after successfully winning against New Zealand, India, South Africa and Pakistan. England women beat India by 11 runs in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2023 game at St George's Park on Saturday. To talk more about the game and England's chances in the tournament, here's Sid.
Thanks, Harry. Sent into bat after losing the toss, England put up 151 for 7. Nat Skyver Brunt top scored with a 50 of 42 balls, while Amy Jones slammed 40 of 27 balls. Later, a clinical bowling performance from England then restricted India to 140 for 5. Speaking about the difference between the sides, Brunt mentioned how England's spinners performed better than the opposition.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think it's massive that us 3 spinners play a big part in containing them and taking the game deep that we did today. I think anything could happen today, and yeah, we contained them well in the middle, especially Glennie. She was great today, and yeah, obviously then she got the wicket with Smitty, so it was all working to plan today.
As far as England is concerned, they play Pakistan in their final group match in Cape Town tomorrow. And regardless of the match's result, they are set to qualify for the semi-finals where they can meet either South Africa or New Zealand. Considering the form of players like Brunt, Capsey, Glenn, and overall form of the England team, I think they are the top favourites for the Cup.
Well, thank you very much for that, Sid. NBA's finest took to the court last night for the 72nd NBA All-Star Game. Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James were the captains and made their team selections just before the game, which has never been seen before. Team Giannis came out on top 184 to 175, with Jason Tatum stealing the show, scoring 55 points and taking home the MVP award. This was the first defeat for King James as a captain since the new format of the All-Star Game. Time for some tennis updates now. Serbian star Novak Djokovic is on the cusp of breaking another record. The Serbian has equalled Steffi Graf's record for most weeks as world number 1. This is his 377th week at top of the men's rankings. Former world number 1 Daniil Medvedev won the 16th title of his career at Rotterdam. The 2021 US Open winner defeated Yannick Sinner 5-7, 6-2 and 6-2 in a mouth-watering encounter. With the win, Medvedev cemented his return into the top 10. He now leads the head-to-head against the Italian. That's all for now. Have a good rest of your evening. Goodbye.